One minute, two stars are best friends posing together at premieres, collaborating on projects. The next minute, they're destroying each other on social media for the whole world to see. And we eat it up every single time. The thing is, these aren't just random drama or publicity stunts. These feuds have shaped entire careers, changed how the music industry works, and honestly, they've gotten way more intense over the years. So let's walk through the most insane celebrity feuds from the past years. Because trust us, these stories are way more fascinating than you think. 1980s to 2004. Madonna versus Elton John. Our timeline begins in an era when celebrity feuds simmered slowly, like fine wine turning to vinegar. In the 1980s, there was Madonna and Elton John, two musical heavyweights who turned passive-aggressive interviews into an art form. It started innocently enough. Two pop icons at the height of their powers, mutual respect, even collaboration. But then came the 2004 Golden Globes, and everything changed. Madonna won Best Original Song for Die Another Day. Elton John, presenting the award, made what seemed like an innocent comment about Madonna's performance. But in the world of pop divas, there are no innocent comments, only calculated strikes and perceived slights. What was seen next were years of the most British, most polite, most devastating shade-throwing in celebrity history. Elton would give interviews saying Madonna's career was over. Madonna would respond with comments about old queens and bitter has-beens. But the masterpiece came in 2012 when Elton told an Australian magazine that Madonna's career was over. Now, this wasn't just mere celebrity gossip. Madonna's response, instead of engaging in a war of words, she simply outlasted him. The beautiful irony is both artists eventually reconciled, realizing that their feud had become more famous than their individual achievements. But if Madonna and Elton showed us how legends handle conflict in the pre-internet age, the next chapter would prove that some battles aren't between equals. They're between predators and prey. 1999 to 2005. 50 Cent versus Ja Rule. As the new millennium dawned, hip-hop was about to witness its most brutal character assassination. Imagine you're Ja Rule, filming a music video in Southside Jamaica, Queens, when suddenly you're robbed at gunpoint for your chain. Humiliating? Absolutely. Career-threatening? You have no idea. Here's where it gets messy. 50 Cent claims he later saw Ja Rule get furious after spotting him at a club with the guy who robbed him. Ja Rule says that's not how it went down, that the beef started when he accidentally snubbed 50 during a video shoot. But this is the thing about hip-hop feuds. The truth doesn't matter as much as the story, and 50 Cent was about to tell the most devastating story in rap history. 1999. Life's on the Line drops. 50's first shot at Ja Rule and Murder, Inc. The gloves were officially off, and pure war followed. Not just diss tracks, from physical altercations at Atlanta nightclubs to street drama. And in 2000, 50 Cent getting stabbed in New York by associates linked to Murder, Inc. and rapper Black Child. And in the blink of an eye, it all moved from music industry beef anymore to a life and death situation. But 50 Cent's real genius wasn't in the violence. Back Down, Your Son Don't Like You, Piggy Bank. Each track was a crazy strike designed not just to win battles, but to completely obliterate Ja Rule's entire identity as a rapper. Not just that, then came the most savage move of all. 50 started buying front row tickets to Ja Rule's concerts, just to leave the seats empty. Imagine performing to a crowd and seeing those empty seats staring back at you, knowing your biggest enemy put them there as a reminder that he owns your failure. The strategy worked devastatingly well. Ja Rule went from chart-topping superstar to industry pariah. Radio stopped playing his music. His credibility was shattered. 50 Cent didn't just win the beef, he erased his opponent from hip-hop relevance. This feud taught the culture something terrifying. Authenticity could be weaponized. If you could convince people your rival was fake, you didn't just win the argument, you won everything. But as hip-hop was perfecting the art of total annihilation, mainstream America was about to witness something even more shocking. 2004, Janet Jackson versus CBS. February 1st, 2004, Super Bowl 38, millions of viewers watching from around the world. Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake are performing Rock Your Body. The crowd is crazy, the energy is just perfect. And then, A wardrobe malfunction exposes Janet's breast for some second. That's all it took to destroy one of music's greatest careers and launch a moral panic that would reform American media forever. CBS immediately threw Janet under the bus. They banned her from the Grammy Awards just days later. MTV, the network that built their empire on Janet's music videos, suddenly stopped playing her songs. Justin Timberlake, who was equally involved in the performance, faced no consequences. His career continued to soar while Janet's was destroyed. At this point, it all felt like a well-coordinated campaign of scapegoating that revealed the ugly intersection of racism, sexism, and corporate cowardice in American entertainment. The FCC fined CBS $550,000, which was at the time the largest fine in television history. The wardrobe malfunction became the excuse for a massive crackdown on broadcast content, literally creating the modern concept of broadcast censorship. Janet Jackson versus CBS taught us that some feuds aren't about winning or losing, just about surviving long enough for history to reveal the truth. Sometimes vindication takes decades, but it comes nonetheless. And as Janet was learning the cost of being scapegoated by corporate America, another young woman was about to discover that fame could become a different kind of prison entirely. 2009 to 2020, Taylor Swift versus Kanye West. September 13th, 2009, the MTV VMAs. Taylor Swift, just 19 years old, clutches her first VMA award for You Belong With Me. She's mid-speech, that sweet country girl smile lighting up her face, when suddenly Kanye West storms the stage and declares Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time. Now, this act was the spark that would ignite the most strategic celebrity warfare of the 21st century. The backlash was really massive because first, President Obama called Kanye a jackass. Then the entire world rallied behind the teenage girl who'd been publicly humiliated. And Taylor, well, handled it with grace that made her even more beloved. She turned victimization into power. Kanye had inadvertently created his greatest rival. But this was just Act 1. For years, there was tension. Then, in February 2016, Kanye dropped The Life of Pablo with the track Famous, the lyric that made everybody's jaw drop to the floor. I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why? I made that bitch famous. Taylor's team immediately denounced it. They said she was never consulted, never approved those lyrics, and was humiliated by the strong, misogynistic message. Kanye claimed Taylor had approved the lyrics during a phone call. Taylor, on the other hand, denied it, flatly. The he said battle was heating up. Then Kim Kardashian entered the chat. July 17th, 2016. Kim posts a series of Snapchat videos that she believes will end Taylor Swift's career forever. The clips show Taylor apparently approving some references to her in Famous during a phone call with Kanye. Within hours, #KimExposedTaylor Party is trending worldwide. Snake emojis flood Taylor's social media. Taylor, who had built her brand on authenticity and honesty, suddenly looked like a manipulative liar. It was coordinated. And it worked. Taylor then completely disappeared from public life. Radio silence for an entire year. Most celebrities would have apologized, tried to explain, played damage control, but Taylor Swift? She decided to burn her entire innocent image to the ground and emerge as something completely different. November 2017, Look What You Made Me Do drops. The music video features Taylor literally killing off all her old personas. The sweet country girl was dead. In her place stood someone darker and absolutely unrepentant. Looking at Reputation, and you would see a complete reinvention. She embraced the villain narrative, turned the snake imagery into her power symbol, and created the most cohesive artistic statement of her career. But the most satisfying twist was yet to come. March 2020. The full, unedited phone call between Taylor and Kanye leaked online. And guess what? Taylor had been telling the truth all along. The snippets Kim released were carefully edited to make Taylor look bad. The full conversation revealed that while Taylor had agreed to some references about her, she had never heard or approved the line calling her that bitch, the part that had offended her most. Kim's receipts were fake receipts. The vindication was complete, but by then, Taylor had already moved beyond needing vindication. She had learned something more valuable than being right. She had learned how to be genuinely fearless. 2019 to 2023, Scooter Braun versus Taylor Swift. June 2019, Taylor Swift wakes up to discover that her life's work, every song, every melody, Every piece of her artistic soul now belongs to someone who publicly humiliated her. Music mogul Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings had acquired Big Machine Records, and with it, the master recordings of Taylor's first 6 albums. Now, this was really personal. Braun had managed Kanye West during their feud, and now he owned the soundtrack to her life. Most artists would lawyer up and fight in court. Taylor Swift decided to burn the entire system to the ground and rebuild it in her image. The audacity was breathtaking. Taylor was going to make her masters worthless by creating identical, superior versions that she owned completely. And then she did something even more brilliant. She turned each re-recorded album into an event. Fearless, Taylor's version, was a victory lap. Red, Taylor's version, became the fastest-selling album by a female artist in history. But the most savage part, she included From the Vault tracks, songs written during the original periods but never released. So fans didn't just get the songs they loved, they got brand new treasures. By 2023, Scooter Braun's empire was crumbling. High-profile clients were leaving, and Taylor was richer, more powerful, and more beloved than ever. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's excellence. Taylor Swift revolutionized the entire conversation about artist ownership in the music industry. But as Taylor was changing the music business forever, hip-hop was building toward its own revolutionary moment. Drake and Kendrick Lamar. 2024. Drake vs. Kendrick Lamar, March the 22nd, 2024. It's a regular Friday night until Kendrick Lamar decides to nuke the entire rap game. He drops a verse on Future and Metro Boomin's track, Like That, with one line that changes everything. Fuck the Big Three, it's just Big Me. For context, the Big Three was this widely accepted idea that modern rap had 3 kings, Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole. They were supposed to be peers, maybe even friends. Not anymore. Kendrick basically said, there is no Big Three, there's just me, and the rest of you can fight for second place. It was the most disrespectful thing anyone had said in rap in years, and it was aimed directly at Drake, the biggest, most successful rapper in the world. Drake had to respond. You can't let someone call you out like that and stay silent. So he dropped Push-Ups, which was actually pretty good. It hit back at Kendrick's height, his deal with Taylor Swift's label, everything. Then came Tailor-Made Freestyle, where Drake used AI voices of Tupac and Snoop Dogg to taunt Kendrick. Big mistake. Tupac's estate threatened to sue, and Drake had to pull the track. He looked desperate. Then Kendrick went nuclear. April 30th. Euphoria drops. 6.5 minutes of Kendrick methodically destroying Drake's credibility, his parenting, his authenticity as a black artist. It was insane. May 3rd, 616 in LA. A creepy, ominous track suggesting Drake's own team was feeding Kendrick information about him. May 4th, Meet the Grahams. This one was personal. Kendrick addressed Drake's parents, his son Adonis, and made some very serious allegations about Drake's behavior. It felt less like a diss track and more like a psychological thriller. The same day, he dropped Not Like Us, the knockout punch. Kendrick painted Drake as a culture vulture, made more serious allegations, and delivered it all over a beat that made you want to dance while watching someone get destroyed. Drake tried to fight back with Family Matters and The Heart Part 6, but it was too late. Not Like Us shot to #1 on the charts. Even people who didn't listen to rap were playing it. The craziest part? This all happened over the course of a few weeks. Social media couldn't keep up. Every day there was a new song, new allegations, new reactions. But the real victory lap came in June, when Kendrick held his pop-out concert in Los Angeles. He performed Not Like Us multiple times, had the entire crowd of 60,000 people rapping along to lyrics about Drake, and basically threw a citywide celebration of Drake's downfall. This moved from just mere rap battle to a complete cultural moment. Kendrick had reminded everyone that technical skill and artistic integrity still matter, even in an era dominated by streaming numbers and TikTok hits. Drake, who had been considered untouchable for over a decade, had been humbled by someone who cared more about the art than the charts. The battle showed that even in 2024, when celebrity feuds usually play out on Twitter, nothing hits quite like a perfectly crafted diss track delivered by someone at the absolute top of their game. And with that, we've traced celebrity feuds from the polite British shade of the 80s all the way to real-time war that can end careers in a matter of weeks. From Madonna and Elton John's polite British warfare in the 1980s to Drake and Kendrick's lyrical demolition in 2024, the only thing that has really changed is the stakes. Modern celebrity feuds aren't just about hurt feelings, they go for entire industries, cultural movements, and the very definition of success in this age. Madonna versus Elton John was about ego and legacy. 50 Cent versus Ja Rule weaponized authenticity. Janet Jackson versus CBS exposed institutional racism. Britney versus the paparazzi forced us to confront celebrity exploitation. Taylor's battles taught strategy and artist ownership. Drake versus Kendrick reminded us that artistry still matters. Each era of these feuds reflects the values and power structures of its time. The only question is, which war will define the next chapter of Hollywood history? If these celebrity feuds blew your mind, you need to see our next video. Trust us, those stories will make these look like playground arguments.